Hello, everybody. My name is Ito, and I am really happy to bring you another game tonight. This time it's going to be between Big Money LLC and Fusion Uprise, and I'm not going to be alone either. This time I'm going to be joined by Pinecone as well. So, Pinecone, how you doing?
Good. Hello, everybody. I love watching Fusion Uprise play. I was about to say Fusion Wide Swing because I was reading the thing at
I
the
know
top.
reading their ESEA name really will
Yep.
mess with you. But I mean,
But
these are two exciting rosters. I'm really excited to see Comic in particular. I'm friends with him, and I I mean, I casted a little bit of Fusion before when they're Peruvian wide swing,
mhm.
but I'm still excited to see them heading into this next season. What's your history with them though, Pinecone? As we get
Well,
into this lovely pistol.
let's see. I first met them by getting clapped by them in an official, but
Good
I'm friends with
intro.
all of them now, so they're really great sports.
And they're definitely kind of the overdogs heading into this match versus Big Money, and they're not getting off to the hottest start. No contact made just yet as they push out onto A. Lots of map control here. Yoko is going to have to take a fight and win at least one of these here because the T's are starting to push in kind of as a unit. MDS is going to find the first kill here. First
Oh,
point of contact. Second and third go the way of Yoko. Siphon will also chime in at the very end of things, and it'll be Reham. And it was looking good and stable for just a moment there from Big Money. Just
yeah,
kind
but
of all fell apart.
there's a gap in the mini smoke actually, which allowed MDS to get some headshot. Ooh,
Speaking of headshots,
yeah, that's a crispy one tap from, is that Reham? The order of the
Reham, yeah,
tags is
Reham.
weird.
I
Reham,
I know it's
Reham?
strange, right? It confused me as well, but Reham. I know that I'll probably get called out for spelling their name wrong on Twitter after this, so I'm just gonna go with Reham. I think it sounds more
Reham.
natural. But one on
Well,
four, very impossible
yeah.
task for him to be totally honest here. I mean, he's done a good job at isolating fights so far, so they have that going for them. But that's pretty much all they have going for them. Siphon with the double.
Yep, I
Oops.
mean, that's honestly the gap in the mini smoke really just seals the deal for the Yoko MDS crossfire. And there's not a whole lot you can do after that. And it's kind of sucks if you're big money because you really want to get your economy building early on the T side, on nuke particularly.
It's kind of rough start for them. I'm surprised Big Money aren't just forcing up everything that they possibly can because they do have a good shot at
Hmm.
breaking the economy of Fusion Wide Swing early on, or Fusion Uprise, I should say.
Fusion wide swing.
See,
Yeah.
now you got me on it as well.
Right? But the thing is too is not even half decent. I believe that's Flannel.
Flannel, yeah.
And have bought a little bit. Ooh, the pop flash coming through the smoke. They're
Oh
gonna
my,
get one, but Maz gets a spray down. Actually,
it's a good triple. I mean,
yeah.
significant enough economic damage done to Fusion Wide Swing considering the investment that they had into that. It was still Maz going off, picking up a triple, but if they can guarantee bomb down,
Ooh.
which seems to be a struggle as MDS just enters a picture with a scout headshot, they have a decent shot at actually getting a good amount of money together, but doesn't seem to
The
be.
bomb plant would have been huge.
Oh yeah, an extra eight
Because
hundred dollars. It would have been
yeah,
massive.
because with how much those two players bought down, it actually limits the utility that they can bring with them on this round.
It's not terrible, all things considered, but it's not really enough to, you know, bring the full execute that they might want out. And it kind of becomes a real struggle as it looks like they're trying to get outer control at the moment. They can do wall smokes, but from there, it's just kind of gonna be a pretty tough task for them. Leading the charge will be Flannel. Makes their way over towards Redbox, eats a grenade right to the face. Unfortunately, it's not much better for Reham either. Luckily, though, first point of contact will go in favor of Flannel, so they have that going for them. Big Money LLC off to a good start. Number 3 at the moment. Comic waiting in mini might be the next up on the chopping block.
So they're gonna reset here, which actually is probably the right decision because they didn't actually know how many players could have gone down behind the smoke wall. They know that one player was on the the mini side of the smoke wall, but at this point they really don't have any information on the CT side, and Big Money is going to contact towards lobby.
And it really makes it so much easier, too, because they now have that man advantage to work with, and that favors T's always so much.
Yeah.
I mean, just taking a CT down, you can really break this defense any way you want to. And they're just kind of going all over. They're going around the world at the moment. 45 seconds going up the ladders. Next on their chopping block here, Reham
Oh,
struggles to get the entry in, but second man in will be Omen. Doesn't struggle this time around. Trades it out, 4 on 3. They're looking really, really good to close out this round now.
Yeah, that was a great mid-round call to them as well. After pushing that ramp player down to make the read that there was already probably another player or even two players down lower because of all the outside presence they have. Siphon gonna get some exits.
Not
Are
too
they
bad.
going for this?
I mean, they
They do
could. It's a
yeah.
3-on-3. Siphon, person who just got the kill, has a real good shot. If they were to get a kill out towards door here, Flannel might spoil the surprise, though. Ruin the party, however you
Oh,
want to put it. And this might actually go the way of Peruvian, or excuse me,
yeah.
Fusion. After all is said and done, because they're winning every single duel they need, but time is not in their favor whatsoever.
Oh.
Omen sprays down, nearly gets the double, but time, again, just does not favor Fusion, and Big Money will actually pick up their first round after going around the world, but it's not without significant economic damage.
Yeah, that's a lot closer than I like that to be as Big Money.
Luckily, though, they are going to be able to buy up pretty healthily into this one here. They're going to have to give up a single AK and pick up a Galil instead, and then also picking up a Scout, but Fusion Wide Swing, surprisingly, just only go for a few upgrade pistols. Don't really try to force into this one, so I guess they have pretty high hopes that they can do a lot of damage with these pistols. Big Money, though, have no worries whatsoever about the economical situation of Fusion, and they're just going to go ahead push right into B, where Maz is going to be able to find one before trading out. Switching over to Galil, will try to do that, or try to work with it as they push into the B side, but Yoko still strikes back with a kill and an AK in their hand. Now they look to spoil the party this time around. 3-on-3. This could seriously swing it into Fusion's favor. Yoko could just get this first kill. They struggle through radio and end up whiffing the spray almost entirely. Comic doesn't have much better luck either, and it's just quick cleanup duty from Big Money.
Yeah, that's feeling a little bad if you're Yoko. But I don't think they actually have a venue back into that round anyways, because they don't have any kit. They don't have any smoke for the bomb. Big Money would have had to have misplayed terribly for Fusion to get back into that round.
It just becomes a really tough scenario, especially after, you win or you lose that initial gunfight. Yoko it did have a decent shot at it, but radio just, it feels like, at least for me, just kind of a tough angle to really make something massive happen.
That's the control room. The radio's upstairs.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I
Yes.
messed up.
Yes.
Yes, radio, not
It's all good.
control. But, I mean, all things considered, not the end of the world for Fusion Wide Swing. They did enough damage to get a healthy buy into this one here. Half armor across the board. Still Big Money with a Galil as they set up for a wall of smokes.
I'm interested to see if they just commit to them this time.
Interested to see what MDS does here as well. Playing around the red box as well, has a lot of shots to make something happen, but will instead choose to toss down an HE at the loving hands of Tease, and the flash is perfect as well. Comic sets it up perfectly, but unfortunately all that can do is get a couple, or excuse me, all that MDS can do is get a kill before they eventually fall. Comic doesn't have the best of luck either.
Siphon though gets one. Oh, he gets another.
Wait, what? He got that third one as well?
Able to clean it up, yeah.
This shuts down the outside presence just like that. Has me stumbling over my words, but well, caught off guard, Fusion Wide Swing are going to take back the lead early on versus Big Money at the moment, and that is not a very good state of affairs for Big Money either. They really are kind of forcing down to everything that they possibly can, and it's not a very pretty sight. A couple of upgrade pistols. I mean, Grody, that's Russ, I believe, stuck on the clock. I mean, right now, what is the best move for Big Money to do at the moment here? Because definitely not favored. Can they even get the bomb down, though?
I don't really like the idea of doing an outside play here. They have such little weaponry to work with and not a lot of utility that it's so easy for them to just walk into a crossfire like Siphon and MPS have set up right here.
Pretty strong one as well. You really rely on like a crazy 1-dig to make this kind of push happen. It feels like fail flash through as well. Reham, no luck for the T's across the board. Fusion is the only one that falls, so it's a clean eco round win by Fusion. So, I mean, pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, they're up 4-2, and to be honest, Big Money doesn't have a lot of money to pay out a pipe.
They have little money.
Yeah,
it's kind of rough. They're just going to go for, again, a couple more upgrade
another
pistols.
half buy.
I'm wondering if they're going to try bringing it inside this time around, because
I that's what I wanted. I would have liked them to have done a fast A just to mix up the pace because they've been so heavily favoring the outside portion of the map. Siphon though might be
Oregon's,
ready for it.
it's worked to very varying degrees, I suppose I could say. I feel long or outside is best when they start taking it quick. I mean, sure, small sample size from what we've seen from Big Money so far, but when they really start taking it slow and try to take those fights, just play brawly, it doesn't seem to favor them too much unless they start doubling back. But,
Yeah, Maz playing a little bit too close to the smoke there. Siphon is going to get another one as they descend into the bottom bomb site.
But now this might be where Big Money starts switching things up. We saw that mid-round call from them a little bit earlier where they decided to go in through heaven and it actually led to one of their 1 rounds.
So Fusion right now needs some form of information, and Big Money is waiting for that by just playing deep into the ramp and waiting for an overcommit from them somewhere.
I think
But the
Siphon
thing
has
is-
some sort of idea of it. I mean, they're watching for a ramp peak. But it's too
Well, the other thing
passive.
too is they actually have so much advantage between their guns and how much utility they have, not to mention their numbers, is that
And the
they
time.
can't. There's no reason to go searching that far for information. You're just
Yeah.
opening yourself up to.
Don't bite the hand that feeds you, because playing with fire will be not even half decent. Actually manages to come out on top of that one. That's a half decent frag from Flannel. Coming up
Nice.
from the vent will be Rust. Oh my lord, did Yoko actually win that gunfight? Okay, never mind. They weren't the vent player. I thought that was a vent player. Surprisingly not too bad of an exit though from Flannel. Gets 3 on their way out. So I mean they do a decent amount of damage. It's not the end of the world, but they need a little bit more Big Money.
I'm expecting Comic to be saying something right now along the lines of like, aha, aha, great round, boys. Ha ha ha.
I mean, how
Just
can you
what
blame
our
him?
indication.
How can you blame him? They're having a pretty good showing so far. They stumbled those first couple of rounds, but seem to have found their footing a little bit over towards outer in particular. And with shots like that, how can you ever doubt me? MDS gets one onto Flannel, who's been one of the big people in the server at the moment. For both
And
teams,
gets
and
another?
MDS, they don't need to see the enemies to get the kills, apparently, because they'll take down 2. Still very healthy as well. No sort of retaliation yet from Big Money. As
Yep.
I mean, this is looking more dismal as time goes on.
and
They still have well over a minute, sure, but 2 men down.
Fusion Uprise is in such a good spot right now because they have the number advantage that allows them to have a player lower without weakening the A defense significantly. And just that in of itself, like, puts them in such a good place to close out this round.
Yeah, the bomb
And looking at the economy as well as Big Money, it's
kind of dismal.
losing these guns. Yeah, it's not going to be good for them next round.
Do you think their best course of action is just to try to save these guns? Because they are going to be getting max loss bonus next time around. You could theoretically drop a gun. Doesn't seem like that is what they think is the best course of action. Comic will go ahead and pick up one, Siphon with another. And it's Rust all alone, so there goes my plans of saving the guns. Their money is not going to look very healthy into this next one. All thanks to MDS with that triple. 2 of them through a smoke as well. That's disgusting.
So I hate to be like that giant CS nerd who's correcting you, but actually when you're on the T side and you save to the end of the round without a bomb plant, you don't get any
Yeah, you don't get any extra money.
any money. So none of them would have been able to drop a gun. But Half
Didn't-
Decent would have been able to buy one, and then Reham would have been on a Deagle or a Galil, which is still a pretty good buy, all things considered.
Yeah, that's what I guess that was what I was trying to say. Yeah, my bad there. I guess I should have mentioned that a little more, but
It's okay.
I mean, they still could have put. No, you're totally right, though. I mean, it's really important to consider when it comes to the economy of this game, just what kind of buys it would allow, and Big Money are really feeling the pain right now because of things
Yeah,
like
so there's
this.
actually some A utility coming in. The Hut Molly misses and allows Yoko to stay up on top. The smoke door is going to slow down their show a little bit. But Riem has one more flash to pop his boys out. And now, let's take a look.
Comic breaks down 3 of them. It's actually Yoko who chimes in for the 4th one. I'm surprised there's no sort of contact that really allowed, or that really just got Comic shut down. Reham Gets one while jumping with a Glock, but doesn't really have much to work with here. Bomb is down. Comic is just kind of looking for his fourth at the moment, it feels like. Yoko is going to be the one pushing through door, ends up falling victim to Reham. Surprising amount of damage so far. Reham has actually kind of wiggled his way into a decent situation at the moment.
Yeah, it's
still a
winnable.
1-on-3.
Oh, well,
It was winnable, I suppose we
it
could
was winnable.
say. Fusion wide swing. Go up on 7, and they're looking really good so far in the CT half. Statistically favored. I'm not sure what the statistics are with a new
It used
iteration
to
of Nuke,
be,
but I know
yeah,
it
it
used to be 13-2 or something crazy.
incredibly high, favoring the CTs. But I actually think, especially with the buffs to the T economy, that it's not as bad as it used to be. Oh, I
definitely
love
think
it
it's
when
much
they do
better.
this, the run boost onto the top of the
know.
hut.
Oh,
Gonna
wow.
This. He hits the arm of Yuno.
Unfortunately, yeah, no
Well,
kill.
it's not gonna connect for a kill, rather, yeah.
It's still a tag, though. I mean, that puts him within one-shot range of those M4s, 2 of which Fusion have to play with. So, I mean, it's still something to keep in mind. Fusion have pretty much every advantage heading into this round. Minus the Kriegs, I just realized, big money. Managed to have 3 Kriegs, a decent amount of utility being used, but outside control is a little bit dodgy. They made their way
Siphon
up
is a
towards red
Krieg too,
box.
which you can't totally forget because that's his favorite gun in the whole game.
When you're
This
holding
man
down a
lives and
position like
breathes a
this.
Krieg. Yeah,
Most
and
definitely.
really, as a Heaven player, you can't really ask for a better gun.
It's a heavenly choice. Smoke come down through mini. Comic surprisingly isn't watching that, as he usually does before, has decided to go ahead and meet with
Well,
Yoko. For
Yeah,
me.
so MDS is actually near the CT blue box,
At the
which gives
moment,
him an angle towards Mini, but you know it's
doesn't
going
seem
to
to be
scrim through the
necessary.
smoke.
I'm surprised that they smoked out mini, but just wanted to push out immediately behind it. I don't really know why they would suspect Comic to be elsewhere, but it seems like no matter where they go, they're just losing fights. Everybody is chiming in for a kill this time around. Yoko and Siphon, the only ones not to find them just yet. Big Money kind of are forced to go down over towards lower at the moment, but they might fall victim to Maz. Surprisingly, that's a fight that Maz loses, but Siphon will quickly step up, but not without being traded out. Reham forced to get this bomb down, though. Time is not in his favor, and surprisingly
waiting.
wants to go. Oh, that is disgusting! No more money to play with. Reham falls after the bomb, so he's only going to have $100 to his name.
Small money LLC.
Oh, that... They couldn't stay more inconsistent with their name, it feels like, and that's kind of rubbing salt in the wound, it feels like, for Fusion at the
They're gonna
moment.
buy back. He gets a deagle drop from his teammates, but
I'm surprised they didn't do that before more than anything. I mean, this doesn't feel like they have a real good shot at winning the round. That's also the Kriegs that Fusion had to work with, and apparently all they need to do is just bring it fast. I don't even have time to react, and nor did Maz. Falls immediately. Only
the whole
trading
team
one
was
out.
rotating down to the bomb site. MDS is here. with
Drops
his
a bomb.
opposite side towards the
What
bomb.
is
He's gonna get another.
doing? Just jumps out in front of the door, practically gives himself up to MDS. Comic in with the crossfire as well, and it's just... I mean, it's a day at the shooting range for Fusion. They don't struggle at all on that eco, and it falls flat on its face, Big Money.
The only one thing I would say, and Maz, my guy, if you're watching this back, maybe don't play so close to the smoke when they're on eco. This is, I think, twice now that you've been killed close to that smoke. You might want to take a step back a little bit, especially when you know they're saving.
Well, it looks like they listen. They're playing a little more
ramp,
passive.
though.
They want to go for this again. I guess they've realized some of the best luck they've had was over towards ramp and heaven, and while Siphon goes down swinging.
MDS is already down. They're not expecting a player to already be on the bomb site. MDS so disciplined by not re-peeking here. And it's going to be a 2v3.
Works out perfectly in their favor as well. MDS doesn't have to peek. The rotations all come through. Sure, they give up a bomb plant to Big Money, but that's honestly going to be totally fine if you can get yourself into a healthier situation. But it all falls apart in a moment's notice. 2 picks go the way of Big Money as they're looking prime to get their 3rd round now.
Oh, he sees one. If he has... I mean, Grody is aware of the possibility.
Oh, and hits it right. I'm not sure. Did they? Yeah, okay, no, that was a dink. That's one of those situations where just a little bit of chip damage can make all the difference. Because if theoretically fell, or excuse me, if Grody theoretically fell there, that could have been a very winnable situation. But surviving with 6 HP. The AK just really wins that duel 9 times out of 10, it feels like. And
Now, this is a big round for big money, because they have all the resources they need to work with to get themselves a decent shot at this half. But if they start losing here, it's almost all over for them.
it's kind of do or die for them at the moment, most definitely. Luckily, the reset era of economy is no longer in play, but still, it's not a very welcoming sight for big money, as you mentioned. They're investing everything into this one, all their eggs in this basket. They've
They're showing a lot of presence towards A as the bomb actually slowly contacts down. You have to wonder what
MDS.
Fusion is expecting. Comic hits the Opper, and MDS is already on the lower bomb site.
I can't. It's like he curved his bullet there or something. I don't know how the hell MDS hit that shot, but that just makes the deal even sweeter for for Fusion Wide Swing, as big money are just kind of, running on fumes at the moment. It's a 2-on-4. Grody might have a little bit of a chance versus MDS here, but MDS is wise to it. Not wise enough though. Still falls to the shots of Rust, and that will be a bomb plant granted towards them. Maybe they do have a decent shot at this. Rotates will start coming through, and Pinecone, what do Fusion need to do to win this round here? They have almost every...
They just need to trade it out. They need to smoke the bomb, and they need to get the trades.
Well, they
Those
have
are
all
the
the
two main
utility as
things.
well. I think the big thing to note is that it feels like Russ is playing this like a 1-on-3. You notice that Flannel is playing very safe in comparison to their teammate. Definitely wanting to try to play contact here as well, and it works out perfectly for them so far. There's a trade out that you mentioned before. Maybe it's not a trade out after all. Yoko with 2 saves at the very end of things allows Siphon to, safely defuse the bomb and make that another round on the board for Fusion Wide Swing. And this is what you're talking about, Pinecone. That was kind of the do or die round for big money.
Yep.
They're going to be able to afford one more healthy buy-in. Utility, they don't have to sacrifice too much of it, all things considered. I thought it would be a worse state of affairs.
A 6-9 half on Nuke is so much better than a 10-5 half.
Most definitely. I mean, that's, just by the sheer math of it, it's just better. But I guess even also just for the moral feeling of it, if you just keep on getting shut down by the T's round after round, it really can be hard to mentally reset yourself and get back into the game. But I mean, big money, they're going down swinging. They really feel like going into Secret is their best option, and going elsewhere just punishes them.
That smoke and get an opening frag. There's actually so much damage done to the T's already, and they don't have a lot of utility to get themselves any foothold into this round. They do have lower control, but...
Yeah, they have lower control, sure, but they don't have access to the bomb site whatsoever, and that's really kind of going to screw them over, because rotates can be relatively quick from Fusion, and I mean, just because they didn't have the bomb site, that allowed Fusion to get into positions where once big money eventually did want to push into the bomb site, they fall, and MDS apparently picks up another one on Russ, which I would imagine by your reaction was a nasty shot.
Honestly, it wasn't even a nasty shot. It's just if I'm big money right now, I am so like angry at MDS having 17 frags right now. Like, letting an Opper on CT side Nuke run away with the game is so frustrating, because when he's all over the map like that, it almost feels like there's nothing you can do.
And they're going to realize it the hard way as well. MDS makes it a triple for the round, and Fusion Wide Swing it's kind of hard to say, not to say they're completely dominant right now. I mean, they don't seem to struggle at all with anything that big money are bringing to the table. That being said, it kind of feels like big money are just kind of slamming their heads against the wall sometimes with some of their decisions that they're making here. It seems like they, sometimes want to bring it over towards lower over and over again. They seem to want to, get lobby control this time around, make it an A execute. But, I mean, what do big money need to switch? Because they only have one more shot to make this a better half.
Honestly, they've missed the opportunity. For me, I would have want them to have got their Opper and Op and have him just dual MDS. I think that's a change they needed. A pop flash, though, coming towards the A side. Yoko is not blind, gets one. Trades are coming out, but they actually favors the CT sides mostly. Reham MP9, Mac 10, sorry, gets one before being traded. They now have decent with fourth player in a 1v2. Where he is, fast is stuck.
Isolates 1v1. But bomb is down, and that kind of becomes their downfall potentially here. MDS is going to be able to quickly sneak into a comfortable position and force Flannel to really check every single angle here. He's going to have to be really good on his shot if he wants a chance of winning the round, but unfortunately, MDS continues their streak of good play after good play. They go up on 19 on a 12-3 score line. It's crazy.
The thing about MDS is, like, he's not only the operator, but he's also the IGL. And I've never seen an IGL op hybrid who is able to, like, focus so much on his op scope and not on the map without, like, you never see him really miss a shot ever. Like, they're so clean. You never see him, like, glaze past an angle because he's staring at the map and calling something.
Yeah, then you start getting, you know, glimpses of Prime Fallen, but even then, yeah, like, Fallen took a lot more of a, I guess, supportive angle when with his opping even felt like it sometimes. I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm talking out my ass at the moment, but
I agree. Siphon, though, is going to get one pick towards the outside. They're not actually set up for this kind of outside take. They're almost caught off guard, and they're going to cut noise, rotating back towards inner.
I mean, yeah, just having a player suck over towards credit card immediately domed and taken out. Too. That's like, I mean, Yuno's been having a slow game, but still going down 4 versus 5, that just makes things even worse for big money. I mean, they didn't have a lot of silver linings heading into the second half, but a decent pistol round could have definitely given them a shot at least keeping things competitive. But they're not looking really prime for it at the moment. They drop yet another player. Siphon is a siphoning players at the moment as he picks up a double so far, hungry for even more, but he's lagging behind the rest of his teammate. It looks like it's going to be time for the rest of Fusion to get their just desserts as they pick up Omen. It's a 2-on-5, a near impossible situation for big money to be stuck in at the moment, but luckily Reham is left alive, the only man with a kit on their team, so it becomes a little bit more possible, but still, I mean, what are the odds of this? It's going to be tough, and yeah, they're going to realize that the hard way. 13-3. Pinecone, what do they need to do at this point now? They've lost every round that they needed. Do they have a shot at this?
The thing is if I'm them, I would probably be calling a lobby crunch. And I think that's probably the best chance to make something happen with these pistols. But the reality of the situation is Fusion is so freaking well practiced that they're probably expecting something like that. And it's going to be a ramp hit. They're not even going to let themselves be open to the possibility of a ramp crunch as they're taking a 4v1 towards the high player, and he gets killed.
Apparently, yeah, Fusion wide swing just... I don't even feel like they just stopped pressing W from that entire push. I mean, it worked out perfectly. They're getting the kills they need, or were at the moment. Flannel nearly strikes back and gets more than he bargained for, but... I mean,
MDS getting 2. That's
it's just kind of painful to watch right now. It's just like they're winning all the duels they need. That again kind of feels like the end of the time for big money.
Yeah,
in this
they're
game.
firing on all cylinders. Like both micro, they're winning almost every individual fight, and from a macro perspective, they're making a lot of the right calls. Both as CT players, not leaving any holes in their defenses. But also as T players now, they've made great mid-round calls, which I think is something... If you're an IGL and you want to learn how to mid-round call, you should just watch any of Fusion Wide Swing's last IM season, because their mid-rounds are incredible. And now another play.
Oh, this is desperation from Yuno. This is something they haven't done so far, and I'm kind of worried it's kind of a one-and-done sort of deal. Fusion are even watching for it too.
He's only going to get one before being traded out.
And this is the sort of thing that you're mentioning. I mean, they're really just kind of watching their back. Even though they're going down like a blistering pace over towards B, they're still checking their angles. They're still checking for everything, and they're winning every single duel. When you hit the shots, it becomes just infinitely harder for big money to really find any sort of into this round. And I mean, they've kept things competitive. They've gotten the trades that they need, but the post play is going to be big money's real challenge here, especially since they just kind of have to play a game of deadly hide and seek versus Fusion Wide Swing, and well, they're not coming out on top of it. 15-3. What more can you say at this point? Fusion Wide Swing just looked dominant so far.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything else to say.
Exactly. It's just... I don't
next,
even know. It's kind of what it feels like, yeah. Big money, these rounds just really kind of fall flat on their face. It doesn't even feel like they have a good shot at winning them sometimes. It's like they're not setting themselves up for success. I feel like Yuno has had the best chance of setting themselves up, and maybe I'm just proven wrong just like that. 2-3 kills go their way, and on a round
The
where
lobby
they're
crunch
forcing
is
up
good.
everything good. I was watching the action over towards Outer, but it all seemed to be in towards Lobby, and finally something seems to be going their way. It's MDS stuck alone, who has full control of the situation, at least for the time being. Quickly seized back. It will be a rough scenario for him as he's left to his own devices, but it's not a play worthy of device. Big Money stay alive for the time being, and that's more like it from Big
The
Money,
thing
but
is I do think like doing a lobby crunch is a play, but that's the kind of play that you can only get away with once on CT side. If
exactly.
you, or at least get away with once or maybe twice a half, but the thing is they don't have that many rounds to work with, so now they're just gonna have to hope that their standard play is enough to bring them back into this game, because it's gonna have to be something along those lines.
Well, Fusion and Wide Swing, they're going to be mostly out of this round for the most part, or at least it seems at the moment.
So here, flashes for himself, which is really not what you want
That's
to do in that situation. You want a team flash supporting you.
It
And
just
the
kind of
trades are
gives away
going to go
so
the way of
much.
Fusion.
Becomes rougher and rougher as time goes on, but dragged back to reality. Big Money go as, I mean, this was a round that Fusion, in a lot of
Should have
scenarios, would
lost.
not. Yeah, exactly. Should not have won. But I mean, it's stuff like who's just trying to go for that solo play over towards Redbox that ended up kind of leading to their downfall. It wasn't, I mean, keep in mind, it wasn't the only thing that led to Big Money losing this round inevitably, but it doesn't exactly give them a real winning shot at this. The trades are pretty good from Fusion Wide Swing for the most part.
Omen
MDS
does
needs
have
to
a
kind of
chance,
stay
though.
alive. Oh, most definitely. If they get this kill on MDS, they have a good shot
With
at
the
it.
Glock.
What's that?
And
Actually, with the
GG.
Glock, I didn't
That
even
was a
notice
Glock.
it.
Yep.
That was a stomp. That's what
I
it
don't think
was.
he had armor. Yeah, that's the thing. I do think that last round, and the red box really solidifies the difference between the two teams. Because when MDS made that play, but like hiding behind the red box and going through the smokes, MDS got a flash from Comic, and they are totally blind. When tries to make that same play through the smokes, he self flashes, which not only makes a sound, the flash is hard to dodge, but it also, easy to dodge, but it also gives away his position.
It's, I mean, yeah, it's honestly hard to really like take a good look and analyze everything that happened in this because a lot of times it just kind of felt like outclassing and just kind of understanding the team setting a little bit more. Like the practice that Fusion Uprise have put, you know, into these past couple of seasons is really starting to pay off for them, and it nets them a win for the time being. But they will improve to what, a 3-1 record, I believe it is, or
Yeah,
2-1,
yeah, it's a 3-1 record.
3-1, okay,
I
or
believe they
2-1.
lost on Vertigo,
Yes, versus Spring
which is
Roll.
actually, yes, which is not a map they play. So there is some miscommunication with their scheduler and the vetoing, I believe.
I actually, interesting note about the Spring Roll game is Spring Roll are also pretty good on Vertigo. Last
Mm-hmm.
season they were in Open and they faced off against 46-2, which is now an advanced team, and they managed to beat the advanced team on Vertigo as well. So I mean, it might also be just they don't play Vertigo, but also just Spring Roll seem to be
Yeah,
crazy on it. So
that is very true. I had the opportunity to scrim the Fusion Wide Swing. I keep on just wanting to say Peruvian Wide Swing because I'm so used to watching them play and playing with them. But I had a chance to scrim their Vertigo, and it wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. We didn't get a single CT side round against them.
holy, that's
So
insanely
they're
impressive.
definitely not the worst Vertigo team on the planet. But maybe Screen Roll is just cracked on that map.
I mean, I remember also Spring Roll played Vertigo another time, and the person named XM1014, literally named after the auto shotgun, got something. I think it was 48 kills or something like
Oh
that.
my god.
I would like try to find the log for it. It was insane to look at. But I mean, I guess what I'm really trying to say is lots of good things for Fusion to look forwards to, and a dominant win just really kind of solidifies that they're going on an upward path. Do you have any final things that you want to mention though before I toss it to some music, Panko?
Um, Haha, good job, comic and friends. You're so good. Sweat emoji, laughing emoji, eggplant
Joy
emoji,
emoji.
heart emoji, heart emoji.
Ooh, you're bringing multiple heart emojis. I feel like a flushed emoji is also.
A flushed emoji? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are looking pretty good in that game. Flushed emoji, flush emoji, flush emoji. If you're want to see something that looks good somewhere else, here's my Snapchat. No.
You're
The
really
joke
getting
for
the energy though.
those who don't know is that comic exclusively tweets like a
Fuck
I don't know
boy
what your swearing
things.
policy is. Yeah,
Oh,
like a fuck
whoops.
boy.
Yeah, I actually don't really know either. A silly boy. There you are. Let's go with silly
He
boy.
tweets like a silly boy. That's our comic, tweeting like a silly boy. Yeah, no, I think they were prepared for this match. I think they were prepared on the map. I think they have great team chemistry. I'm
It really showed on that
honestly
one.
surprised that they did so well, to be honest. I was expecting a bit more of an even game,
I
but
mean, I guess it just also kind of relied on MDS also having a pretty incredible game. 26 and 7 was their
the man
final
is a
score.
machine. I
144
swear,
ADR.
I never see him miss. I don't think I've in all the times I've casted their games, I don't think I've ever seen him miss a shot. That's like a reasonable shot, like not like some hero flick to save his life as he gets rushed into a site or something.
I
But
mean,
like,
seeing that double kill through smoke was just kind of
mhm.
telling of that. It was a lot of fun to watch and also kind of crazy to watch at the same time. Definitely a stomp. But hopefully Big Money can look back and just kind of know what to improve on. I feel like a lot of the things that you mentioned were just like a lot of solo plays that individual players are just trying to set themselves up
Mhm.
for that just kind of didn't work at all.
Well, the thing is, you can be a great individual player, and you can get to main being a great individual player. But when you get matched against a team like Fusion Uprise, it's like a team that practices so much together and has so much emphasis on not just making those individual plays, but on playing like team CS and building chemistry.
Mm-hmm. And
Like,
it just kind of shows.
just being a good individual is not going to bring you,
It
well,
can only
more
take you
than
so
3 rounds
far.
into the game, you know?
4 rounds, apparently, with a performance like that. But with
Mm-hmm.
that, I think I'm going to toss it to some music. Thank you again, Pinecone. I'm also going to be doing another game after this, but I'm not sure if you want to stick around for that one. If
I'm
not,
not sure. We will figure that out, I think, in the music time.
yeah. Well, thank you so much, though, and I'll see you guys in a few.